section of Homework 10, we'll be talking about installment buying. Installment buying is when you take out a loan to pay for something that you don't have enough money to cover the whole thing, and then you make monthly payments in order to pay it off. Credit cards can be an example. Sometimes you can make this kind of loans through a store, or you can get that kind of a loan from a bank or other money lending institution. There are formulas for figuring out the percentages and the payments and so forth, but in this course we're going to use the tables. So you have a larger table in your textbook. I'm going to show you just a piece of a table here. The APR are across the top, and in this sample we just have 3, but of course there are several more percentages you could choose from, so the real table is actually larger. And then we have the number of payments down the side. These are monthly payments, so for example 36 monthly payments, 12 goes into 36 3 times, so that would be a 3-year loan. 48 payments would be 12 times 4 is 48, so that would be a 4-year loan. So often a car loan or something is like that. This table is set up so that the values in here are the APR, or the finance charge rather, the interest that you're paying is what finance charge is. And this is per $100 of loan. So you really pay a lot in order to pay a loan. So each month, and if you've had a credit card bill, you probably have noticed this, or a mortgage loan or any kind of loan, car loan, you'll see on there that you're paying part of the principal each month and the finance charge for that month. So your payment has to be higher than your finance charge for the month in order for the principal to go down. So that's the idea of how these are. So you can't have so many payments that your finance charge doesn't cover your payment doesn't cover your finance charge. Okay, let's actually do an example. Okay, let's say, I'll make up a name, Karen buys a car for $16,000. She puts a 10% down payment and finances the rest. Over the next 4 years. Which is 48 months. If her interest rate, APR, is 10%, find her total finance charge and her monthly payment. Okay, so in your homework you will have some of these problems to do. Some of them may have part of the chart in the problem with them. Others you will have to refer to the textbook for. The quizzes and the test, however, you will not have to refer to the textbook. Any charts that you need will be provided for you inside of the problem, so you don't have to do that. Okay, so first of all, let's see how much money she's going to finance. The car costs $16,000. Her down payment is 10% of the $16,000. So that's going to be 0.10 times 16,000. And you may be able to do that one in your head, but let's go ahead and work it out. 1,600. So she puts down 1,600, and that leaves her 16,000 minus the 1,600 to finance. 16,000 minus the 1,600. 14,400. So she's getting a loan for the 14,400 that she still owes on the car. Okay, so the APR is 10, and 4 years is 4 times 12, 48 months. So she's going to be making monthly payments. Let's put the chart in here where we can see it. So we're going to look, and we see the 10%, 48 months. So the $21.74 is going to be her finance charge per $100. Per $100 of her loan. Okay, so how many hundreds of dollars is she borrowing? She is borrowing 144 hundredths. So you're going to take the loan amount and divide by 100 to find that she's borrowing 144 hundredths. She's borrowing $144. So if you can think of it as in, she's getting a bunch of $100 loans. How many of them is she getting? 144. For each one of those, she's paying $21.74. So we need to take the $21.74 and multiply it by the 144. So 144, I'm going to do it in a calculator, so let's write it out this way. 144 times 21.74, and that's going to give us a total finance charge. $3,130.56. So that's her finance charge. So it's as if by getting a loan for her car, she's going to have to pay an extra $3,130.56. But she's going to do it over the 48 months. So she has paid her $1,600 down. So that part's paid for. Now she has to pay back the lender the $14,400 that she's borrowing from them, plus she's going to have to pay them this interest. So her payback amount is going to have to be both of those. The $14,400 plus the $3,130.56. 1400 plus 130.56, 17,530.56. Could have done that one by hand. It was easy enough. So she's got to pay back a total of $17,000, $17,530 $2,428.56, and she's going to do it over 48 months. So her monthly payment is going to be $17,530.56 divided by the 48. So let's do that, divided by 48, $365.22. So let me briefly go over those steps again. First of all, we took the total price, which was $16,000. So total price, we found the percentage of the down payment to find out what her down payment was. Sometimes you know the percentage, sometimes there's a required percentage, sometimes you just may have a certain amount of money. You may have even more than the required percentage. So she puts down $1,600, so we subtract that from the total price so that we can figure out how much her loan is going to be. So this $14,400 is the loan amount. Okay, so then after we know the loan amount, this point would be the time to shop for your financing. She finds 10% in 48 months, and that turns out to be 21.74. We get this from the table. There's also a formula that can be used to get that, but we're going to be using the tables. So she's going to pay that for every 100 that she's borrowing. So how many hundreds is she borrowing? We have to take her loan amount and divide it by 100 to figure out how many $100 or $100 packages or whatever she's borrowing, 144 of them. So for each of those, she has to pay $21.74. So altogether, her finance charge is going to be $3,130.56. We add that to the amount she's borrowing. The amount she's borrowing plus her finance charge is the amount she has to pay back. And then we take that whole amount she has to pay back and divide by the number of months, and now we know that she has to pay back $365.22 every month. If you have this kind of a loan, monthly loan, if she could pay more than that amount every month, even if she could just pay $370 a month, that's going to make a significant difference on this total that she ends up paying. This is the fee, you could think of it as, that she's paying in order to borrow that cash to buy that car. So if you can make this amount higher, not only will you be done in less than 48 months, but your total here is going to be less. And if you've got a credit card, these numbers here usually are not 10%, 9.5%, not even 10.5%. They're often 16.5%, 17.5%, even 18%. I've even seen credit cards with 21% on them. So you want to pay those things off as quickly as you can because they are charging you a lot for the use of the money. So all these problems work the same. You just have to look at the table either that's provided or look at the one in your textbook. You can also find them online. And you can find the pages in my math lab as well. The last section is going to be similar to this one. It's going to be on mortgages.